Otto, the pass, the spike, dug out by Bird. Chance for Higgins, spiked in on the right side, Point Emerson. That ball is tipped and managing to keep it up in the air, and rally continues to go. Oh, a fake spike, gets it over, but it's dug out by Slavic. Chance, spiked into the corner and down! 9 points not to be yet. 8-6, Emerson gets another one. Now to serve is Tanner Sirocco. A chance for Slavic, he fakes him out and spikes it right over. The score bug fixed now, folks. You do see the score correctly. Emerson trails by 2, it's blocked! De Los Santos another point, 9-8. Folks, coming into this match, I didn't have enough time to preview you, but Nichols has been dominant all season long, only losing 1 match, and that was 5 matches ago to the #1 Wentworth. This is taken away and dug out. Slavic couldn't get it over. Slavic again, blocked, oh, with his feet, last chance for Rome, he gets it over, incredible recovery by De Los Santos. Can they get this one? No, they can't. The point for Nichols, as Rome was unable to dig that one out, but Emerson is coming with the most energy that I have seen them play with so far this season. A tip off of her fingers and then in both hands, giving it back to the teams. Up in the air, and blocked! Luke Rome excited, so is the rest of the team, they shove him around. Bryce Bondville gets this served. Trying to dig that out and set up Rome. It's tipped off a defender, and it hits the side. Another point. Emerson able to stop the streak before it starts. 19-15, Luke Rome to serve. Rome trying to lead the charge back. They can't dig it out. It looked like it hit the ground, but they didn't call it that way. Norman Dean was able to get it back over. De Los Santos with a spike. They recover again. De Los Santos tries to block it. This time it's Slavic. He blocks it effectively. They get it back over. Can Norman Dean make the play? He can. Fagan to Slavic. Tips it over. Didn't hit the ground again. The best rally of the game so far. And Bird is able to keep it up. Fagan spiked. Point Nichols. Incredible. Impressive points of Emerson's day as Baden Slavic has continued to impact the game as he serves. Martin, Knapp, no. Dorsey, Slavic, Rome, no, he saved it, what a save! He dug it out and got it over. Slavic, a chance, another point not scored. Tipped, can they get it over? They do, spiked, and it is in. Nichols with their 15th point in exciting fashion. Welcome back, everyone. I am Evan Sharrard. I was just up in the replay booth, now I'm down here to talk to Dr. Charles Steinberg, a professor here at Emerson College. Today is Mental Health Matters Day, this Emerson men's and women's doubleheader during the men's game. Here we are at halftime. Dr. Charles, I've had you as a professor twice now. You have had a large impact on the community here in Boston, and you know quite a bit about community. And mental health is something that just came to the forefront of your mind in the past couple of years. And what can you tell me about what mental health means to you?
I can tell you that there's an adage from 2,000 years ago that says, from my teachers I learned much, from my colleagues I learned more, from my students I learned most of all. And in my Sports as Soft Power class, where I'm blessed to be the Director of Sports Communication at Emerson, in Sports as Soft Power, it was the students who brought up mental health as an issue on the rise, an issue with a steep slope. And what a thrill today to be here to see some of my students, to see Ava Salty on the women's team. Ava was one of the first to bring up mental health in our Sports as Soft Power class. Then came another semester where you were part of a movement of students that was just asserting that mental health was skyrocketing as an issue. So I learned from the students, and your class took the initiative to leap past your own semester to join another Sports as Soft Power class, and we did a landmark study in Worcester with the Worcester Red Sox, where I work, and 4 of our players, along with 4 Emerson athletes, led a really insightful seminar on mental health. So I think we're just at the beginning. I think that if you can forgive the baseball metaphor, we're in the top of the first inning. But I think that our players who are headed to the Boston Red Sox and on the Boston Red Sox, like Jaron Duran, are understanding that the first step in mental health is to talk about it. And I learned that the first step is to talk about it from my students at Emerson in my sports and soft power class. It's inspiring to see that you've now turned that into a tribute tonight for the basketball doubleheader, and to see my students on the women's team and see so many of my students on the men's team. It's really exciting.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. And Ava Salty was she was a catalyst for why we are here tonight with a Mental Health Matters Day. And to be here with you after all that has transpired, for those of you who are unaware, Dr. Charles has worked in baseball his entire life, has a prominent role with the Worcester Red Sox. What's it like?
I'll tell you what it's like. Today is a doubleheader for me. Today is January 31st, and that's Jackie Robinson's birthday. And we met with 1,000 students today on a Zoom chat in Worcester Public Schools, teaching them the power that one person can have. And here it is at the end of that same day, and we're talking about Ava Salty's courage to bring up mental health a couple of years ago, yours and your initiative to act on it, Kayla Buck, so many in our class. And just as Jackie Robinson paved the way for so many others, I see that Ava Salty and you and so many of the students that we know, what a great class, are paving the way for others to enjoy the opportunity to talk about mental health with it being destigmatized, being appreciated as a health issue. I don't even think it's going to be called mental health. I think it will be,
it's going to be health.
I think it'll be neurophysiological, because it's an entirely physical, bio-neurophysiological issue, and I think that will help destigmatize it. But it's Emerson students who are leading the way, teaching me, and as your professor, I'm an active and avid student.
So, Dr. Charles, just before we go, you said that we're in the top of the first inning. When you look at the progress and the growth we're making in mental health and sports, what's next?
I believe that it's going to be mental health in science, and I believe that the human brain will be road-mapped the way the old-fashioned AAA roadmaps are, and you will identify areas of injury and areas of trauma, and there will be microneurosurgery that will repair those potholes rather than require you to circumvent them or get used to hopping along on them. And I think that then there will be, in my other profession, dentistry, a return to proper form and function, as we say in dentistry. And I think that that's where the 21st century will take us, and I think that it will be a brilliant future. I don't know that I'll see that, but I hope and believe that my students will, because you are doing potentially historic work by bringing to light issues that are medical, that are physical, that are physiological, and they apply to sports, but they apply to life as well.
Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Charles. Great insight, as always. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Evan Sharrard. You might have seen me at halftime with Dr. Charles Steinberg. Now I'm joined by Ava Salty, member of the women's soccer and basketball team here. And the reason that all of this is happening, Ava, welcome in.
Thank you very much for having me.
And just, I mean, what does this mean to you that this is now the second year that we've had this event?
Yeah.
What is it all about?
Basically, like, we wanted to place meaning onto sports. Obviously, we love playing, and this was a chance to do something impactful. And I think the mental health cause and ending the stigma is really universal, and especially in the sports field. So everybody bought in, and they wanted to have it again. So, yeah, raising money and just raising awareness. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the notion that made you go, we have to do this?
Honestly, there was a girl on the women's soccer team at Stanford that took her own life in the spring of 2022, and I was just really moved by that because she was a Division I star, starting goalie, and you never know what someone's going through. So I thought, God forbid one of my teammates was struggling, one of the athletes here is struggling. This can help. So
yeah.
That's what it's about. So
I have to compliment your bravery for and initiative for stepping up and doing that, because I think you've made incredible change just having this doubleheader be a thing, all because you had that thought and the ability to go forward and do something about it. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
So if you had one message, one thing that you could say, if the whole world heard you, what would you want them to hear?
Okay, I'm a big quotes girl, so I have a lot of mantras. I would say that something's only worth it if you love it. So this is worth it for me because I love it, and sports and basketball and just doing things with purpose. So it's worth it, and yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, none of this would have happened without Doc Wayne and without everyone here at Emerson with the athletics program. So it was just a big team effort, and it's just very special. So I'm grateful that we were able to make it happen, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me, Ava, Rico, Godfrey, Max Levy earlier. I'm Evan Sharrard. This is Ava Salty. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time on Emerson Channel Sports. Mental health matters. Remember to talk about it. It's important. If you haven't started, start today. Trust me, it'll help. If you're just joining us, the first half has just begun here in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's the number 2 seeded Clark in the NUMAC versus number 6 Emerson. Rico fakes the shot. Now gets it over Guillermo Gusset Ruiz. Brenner, no hesitation. 3! Knocks it down from the top of the key. Emerson back in it, 6-3. Santillius drives with some power, finesse, and a finish for Bruce Santillius. Nearly stolen, and it is Pridgeon. One pass, baseball style, flip from the shortstop to the second baseman. 6-4 out of bounds. Now this is passed into the corner. Mikey Robinson drives baseline and passes outside. It tips off of his hands, over his head, and out of bounds as Pridgeon was unable to hold on to it. A turnover for Clark, just past the Clark University logo on the Emerson side of the court, past the three-point line as Rico will inbound right there from the sideline, getting it into McNamara, pressured by O'Brien. Still not past half court, calling for a screen. A little crossover. He drives to his left side, gets it over to Rico, now cross past half court. McNamara drives left side baseline, guarded by McCardle. A size mismatch. Rico wide open for 3. This one goes down. Trevor Rico knocks down the trifecta. It's 8-7 with 14 minutes and 25 seconds to play in the first half. Into the corner, wide open 3. Yes, sir! Jordan Richard from downtown. Open. O'Brien fakes the 3, gets inside position, slithering by the defender as he sticks it for 2 more. And now Isaiah Taylor's got the ball. At the top of the key. Gets it over. This is Bruce Santillius driving, spinning, kicking it inside through legs of Gusset Ruiz and finishing at the rim with a nice baby hook. Oh, down court pass. McCardle scored that last basket. Trying to take advantage of that was Brenner, who was all the way down cherry picking. He caught the ball, and now Armand's got it at the top of the key. Giving it over to Rico. Drives into the middle of the paint. Misses the layup off the front of the rim as he tried to just push it right up there. But Emerson will maintain possession as it was knocked out of bounds by Clark. As Gusset Ruiz drives inside, Zurich puts it in. 7-point game. Caden Zurich catches the defense napping, and assist from Lucas Brenner. Inside to O'Brien. Mikey O'Brien to the left block. Rejected by Gusset Ruiz. McNamara's got it at the top of the key, calls a play. Brings Zurich to his left, he sets a screen. McNamara driving into the paint to the right side. Kicks it over to Zurich just a little too far. Zurich recovers though, passes it out to Gusset Ruiz. Emerson with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Gusset Ruiz steps in and fires to the left. He hit that shot. He hit it. It was a floater from the baseline. He's not usually going to shoot with that hand. It was a Steph Curry-like finish, and as the shot clock expired, he puts Emerson back up by 9. Double teamed, 3 defenders on 2 offensive players. Gusset Ruiz spins out of a double team and coming down with some pace, running like a racehorse. He's trying to find an opening, but it's ripped away. He's running too far and too uncontrolled. Ripped away by Jordan Richard. Mikey O'Brien, a swing pass back. Isaiah Taylor will hold the ball as they want one last shot in the half. Isaiah Taylor still holding it. Hands on his hips as if he's just run a big run. He's not run the marathon yet. O'Brien's got it. A screen by McCardle to his right. O'Brien passes to Santillius. This is the point where he hits it, and he does! It's a 3-pointer by Bruce Santillius. Clutch continues. Shot clock to 2. Gusset Ruiz fires and airballs. Emerson leads the first half of this men's semifinal, 37-35. To Taylor. Faking a screen is McCardle. Taylor with the crossover, the step back, the 3. No. Off the back of the rim. Goes
going to the ground and getting the rebound is Jordan Richard, fighting for every inch of ground. A game of inches. And it's not football, it's basketball, but they're playing just as physically. And the fouls are being called to match. Defended by Santelius. Arico drives in against Santelius. No foul. Great rebound there by Gardner to keep possession. He's going to work and putting it up over Newman. Asher Gardner working his elbows in, and the Kiwi knocks down 2. 6-point game.
8-point game, 9 seconds. Arico gets it into the corner. Roban, he doesn't have that kind of time. He fires it, he misses, and that's that for the first time in 21 years. Clark, do you believe? Because the 2 seed is heading to the new MAC championship.
Evan,
Yes.
Mac Jones, let him throw or let him go?
You got to let him throw. I think there have been a lot of headlines just 2 weeks ago that would have said, yeah, Mac Jones is really taking steps forward. All of Patriots training camp, Bill Belichick saying, yeah, Mac Jones looks a lot better. He's taken the steps he's needed to play in this offense. They have the worst game of their season against the best defense in the NFL so far to this point in the year. And now everybody wants to jump on and say, we got to throw Mac Jones away. You know, he's not good. I mean, Matt, you said this earlier. I mean, a lot of people compared Mac Jones to Kirk Cousins coming out of college. And let's say that Kirk Cousins is Mac Jones's upside. And you said, you know, it's hard to come by good quarterbacks. When quarterbacks are scarce, Mac Jones makes great reads. Look at this play right here. This is on 4th and 1. You want to talk about a guy that can extend plays? Is he a pylon in the pocket? No, he just completes a big play to Jonnu Smith on 4th and 1. And that's when the game's on the line. Mac Jones has been great in times where he's needed to be great, and he's had no talent around him beyond a guy like Devontae Parker, who is really not a number 1 on most teams in the league. We had Jacoby Myers out of the slot, who really was his best option. He's had no tight end consistency. Hunter Henry's been hurt until pretty much this season. Mike Gesicki, they misused Jonnu Smith last season. They had terrible offensive coordinator last year. I've liked what I've seen getting the ball out of the backfield to different running backs, and they need to help Mac Jones out around in the offensive line as well. The offensive line's been horrible. They were just playing the best pass rush in the league. Tom Brady had a game like this against the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2015 when they won the Super Bowl.
He'd won
one game, and Mac Jones just had one game like that. Are we saying this about Mac Jones? If the Patriots beat the Cowboys this past week,
I'm not sold on the Brewers. I'm going to be honest. I don't
Really?
see what's special about them that much.
I can jump in there. The Brewers have had one of the best bullpens in all of baseball this year. Hobie Milner has come out of nowhere as someone who would have never heard of Joel Payamps this year as well. Devin Williams is maybe the best closer in baseball. The reason the Brewers are here is because of their pitching. They have maybe the best rotation in baseball. Brandon Woodruff's just come back off of injury, just helped me win a fantasy baseball title. Corbin Burns has been one of the best starters for the past 3 years. If they can get into one-run games, the Brewers are 28-18 in one-run games this year, which is one of the best records.
Yeah, that's impressive.
One of the best records in the league. The Braves, mind you, are actually through one-run games. They are 23-17 this year, and they won 100 games. One thing we haven't really mentioned here is health. And the Houston Astros have dealt with a lot of health issues all throughout the regular season. They didn't have Altuve till a couple months after the start of the season. Yordan Alvarez went down. He's the key cog of that offense. You pitch around everybody in that offense until Chas McCormick. Chas McCormick had a breakout season this year. Everybody was looking at him in center field as if, okay, let's just pitch to this guy. He's hit the most opposite field home runs this year. He's got some opposite field power, which is really odd for an outfielder like him.
Yeah.
They really have maybe the strongest lineup in baseball. Alex Bregman's come back and played better after 2 down years. Their pitching is, I think they've thrown, I'm not certain about this, but I think that they've thrown the most no-hitters in the last 3 years. Their pitching is elite. Their bullpen is great. The Astros do have what it takes, especially Danielle, you talked about experience. Nobody has more experience here than the Astros and the Dodgers. I like the Dodgers over the Braves just because I think the Dodgers have a better back end of the bullpen. I think that this will, every playoffs to me is always about Every playoffs is always about pitching because all of these offenses are so good, except for maybe the Brewers and the Diamond and the Marlins, that this really does come back down to who's going to win those one-run games. And I do like the Dodgers and the Astros the most out of all these teams.
Or are the Eagles just not what they were like? And so
that's a great question. That's actually a great question.
I think I can answer that for you.
Go ahead.
I was watching a lot of the condensed footage, and there were just some plays in this game where it just looked like the Eagles' front four, they just really weren't getting to Sam Howell fast enough.
Yeah.
Where it's not like either team played a bad game. This was just a game where it feels like the Eagles are still kind of asleep. They had that week 1 game against the Patriots where it's like, okay, you guys had a 2-score lead. Everything's going right in the first half, and you almost lose. And if it wasn't for Keyshawn Booty not keeping 2 feet in bounds, the Patriots probably win that game.
Yeah.
So there's also,
yeah.
and the Eagles, they just didn't really get as much pressure as they could. Sam Howell made some big plays. There was a 3rd and 17 in this game where the Eagles could have won. They were winning by a touchdown, and they gave up a touchdown with 2 seconds left in the game on, and Sam Howell had a good game overall. There was one play in this game where Howell threw it up on 1st and goal in the red zone, and it really did show, the Commanders' offense, pretty good. Howell, off and on, is he their guy? You know, we're still figuring it out. He's a rookie. Yeah, the pass rush. The pass rush has just not been getting pressure fast enough. They have a lot of depth, so there are a lot of different combinations they can try. They tried a couple stunts against this line where they looped the outside edge inside against the guard. Normally that'd go to the outside against the tackle. And I thought that there were a couple good plays by the right guard for the Commanders in this game, picking up some of those pressures. I think it's just kind of a wait-and-see thing. I think the Eagles are fine. Faith, you had them in the top 5. They're 4-0. They're a week 4-0. Do we see this happen every game from Josh Allen? My whole question with the Bills is the Bills,
inconsistent.
I was saying in a pitch meeting, the Bills could miss the playoffs. The way that they do that is if Josh Allen makes mistakes in close games late. And I don't think it'll happen, but it could. And this was an instance of the Bills playing perfect football exactly as they lined it up in the pregame. And the Dolphins' defense didn't have an answer. In order to have a good secondary, I don't care who you have out there, you have to have a good pass rush. And they were not getting to the quarterback. Josh Allen was moving all around. Was Jalen Phillips doing much for the team? You can't have one guy pass rush the quarterback. And if you want to talk about linebackers don't matter until your defensive line matters. Linebackers are the running backs of defense. They're just there to fill gaps and tackle and cover if you're running a Tampa 2 defense. But the Dolphins' defense is where they need help. I don't think that it's going to keep them from contending for a Super Bowl. I do think it's kind of an overreaction to say that we're going to move from them being the 3rd team in NFL history to score 70 points and immediately count them out because their defense has one bad game. I will cite it again. I will cite it again. The Patriots gave up 48 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady threw 2 picks and Jimmy Garoppolo came in 2015. Donovan McNabb goes on TV and says, Brady's done. He plays for another 10 years, wins 3 more Super Bowls.
It's a very different situation.
But it was a blowout loss. It was in week 4, and everybody's blowing up like, it's too early in the season to say the Dolphins are done because they were just the Super Bowl winner last week.
They're not done.
A lot of people like to say, he's a product of Mike McDaniel's offense. We talk about product of the system. I take that to mean that they are a perfect fit for what this coordinator or coach likes to do, meaning that, all right, he's coming into Mike McDaniel's offense, Shanahan scheme, 49ers former coordinator coming in. Going to go with a lot of short passes, a lot of motion. Now, while I would say that Tua does do very well in that scheme particularly, I think it helps him excel as a quarterback. He has skills that I don't think you see disappear on different teams. He has some of the best accuracy in the league. Here you see him dicing up a cover 2 defense. This is going to be a lot more protection, where he's going to throw a deep corner post here, beating cover 2 again. So he's able to place these balls and beat zone coverage when he's protected very well. When he is sacked more than twice, he's 11-11. So it could be a situation where we're going to see a play fake here. And this is actually another thing that I didn't talk about, but he's really good at looking off a defender. Tyreek Hill was wide open in the end zone on that play. Instead, he threw it tougher pass to Jalen Waddle, where the defense was kind of looked off. But Tua has great accuracy, which I think allows him to beat this is he a product of the system argument. But he is in a system that I think puts him in a fantastic situation to play maybe better than where he would other places.
He is also a player, you said that he touted and doubted, and he was, and he still is to this day. People say, well, he doesn't look like what a modern day quarterback looks like. They want to say that he's like Mac Jones, that he can't run, that he can't drop far in the pocket and make moves, but he can, and he's proving that he can. And he's built different and in multiple ways, but that's why people at first, when he came into the league, wanted to, I think, doubt his abilities.
I think there were questions around Tua's ability when he doesn't have a good team around him, but he doesn't have to deal with that. And he does fit perfectly in this offense where there's a lot of motion. A team will come out in man coverage. What does Mike McDaniel's scheme do? Guy comes in across the line of scrimmage. They had a double set. Now there's 3 receivers on a line. There's going to have to be a defensive back making a call to another one. Who's covering this guy? All of a sudden, Tua is so smart. He knows the plays inside and out. All right, I know that guy's not going to be able to come across the field. That's it. I'm making the throw.
Thanks, Caroline. Welcome to Emerson Channel's longest-running productions here. I'm brought alongside Connor Donovan. I'm Evan Sharrard, and welcome to Emerson Channel Sports, where we have not only the longest Emerson Channel production, but also the most recent Emerson Telly Award for M-Chan shows, and we've brought in over 90-plus new people. And to top it all off, just last week, men's basketball had the first dual-language broadcast. So I'm Evan Sharrard, Connor Donovan, a first-year broadcaster with us, and former soccer player here. Connor.
I am indeed.
Yeah, what was your first experience like on Emerson Channel Sports?
It was amazing, honestly. The only thing that I regret about this year is that I didn't join the program sooner, to be completely honest with you. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, I just kind of joined on a complete whim during one of the broadcasts. I kind of walked over and asked our producer, how do I do this? And just ended up doing color commentary for the rest of the game. So it was definitely a great time.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was right there saying, Nat, bring him on right now. And I think that often there can be maybe a misconception that, maybe I don't want to go out for it. Maybe it's going to be too hard. What would you say to the people that are maybe timid to come out because maybe they think it'll be a little too hard to get on air?
Yeah, 100%. There's a spot for everybody within Emerson Channel Sports. I want anybody that's listening or watching this to feel like if they want to come join this program, that there's absolutely a spot for you somewhere in the crew, whether that be in front of the camera or behind the camera with our wonderful crew. I think there's really a spot for anybody.
Thank you, Connor. Well put. Is there a favorite broadcast that you have that you've been a part of?
Definitely, 100%. The men's soccer team's 2-2 comeback draw against league leaders MIT earlier this season was definitely one that I remember fondly, and I think the play call for Tommy Polino's equalizer is going to be one that I remember for a long time.
I remember that one. That was a moment where I went on to Connor Donovan's Instagram and said, he is now the voice of Emerson Soccer.
I recall that vividly, yes.
Yeah, it was a great call. I encourage you to go listen to it. Give him a follow. Connor, you've been a color commentator, a play-by-play commentator. Is there anything else you've done at ECS? And just give me a little bit about each of those roles and what you've enjoyed.
So I haven't done anything else outside of the commentary roles personally, but I have massive respect for anybody that jumps behind any of the equipment, whether it be the switcher to be in charge of the programming or behind the cameras making sure that we have the perfect angle for every single time.
Yeah.
So I have massive respect for those people, but for me personally, it's just been always much more comfortable on this side of the commentary.
Yeah. Well, I love the answer, Connor. We have plenty of people in the room. Way back there's Jai. He's doing camera op right now. In front of me, we have Catherine, great camera op. In the studio, we've got Everest doing audio, and Nat TDing, helping me right through this headset, helping Connor along the
100%.
way, queuing us in. You can
Everyone's
be part,
involved.
Everyone's involved, and everyone can be a part of it. Connor, if there's a pitch that you could give, what's your pitch?
My pitch is, if you're watching this, that you should join Emerson Channel Sports as early as you possibly can in your Emerson career, because there is so much fun to be had. So it's a good job. You want to be able to get in on it early.
All right, Connor, wild card question. Was there any time there was a moment that you were nervous in front of the camera where you were like, oh, crap, I messed up what I was saying?
I think the first play-by-play call that I did, I actually did it with Emily Champagne, who is also a first-time play caller. So I think the combination of me doing my first play-by-play and her doing her first commentary period, there was definitely a little bit of nerves at the start of the broadcast, but we eased into it more as the play call went along.
And what was that feedback like?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Emily had a great time with her first time behind the mic, and that was awesome for me. It made me feel like she was at least comfortable in the position and that she was happy to just be there and be calling the game with me.
Yeah, and was the feedback from the producers, was it positive? You felt accepted even though maybe you made a mistake?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's been a lot of support from the producers, especially for somebody like me who is coming in at such a late time, and I think that I've been incredibly grateful for this opportunity.
great. And you can have that opportunity too. Sign up to be part of Emerson Channel Sports. That's all the time we have for now. Thank you so much for joining me, Connor. And now let's toss it over to the JPC.